Alright guys, welcome to today's episode of Aussie English. Aussie English, the Aussie English Podcast is the #1 podcast for anyone and everyone who wants to learn Australian English. It's my mission here to teach you guys to understand Australian English, but not only that, it's my mission to teach you to speak English like an Australian. That's the goal, guys. That's the goal. A few housekeeping things, a few announcements before we get into it, guys. Obviously, I'm still collecting postcards. If you guys want to send me some postcards so that I can fill up this wall behind me, I would love to hear from you, whether you're overseas, whether you're in Australia, whether you're living next door, guys. Send me a postcard. In fact, if you're living next door, you can probably just buy a postcard and put it in my letterbox, but you get the point. I would love to hear from you guys, so please feel free to send me a postcard. The address is P.O. Box 597, Ocean Grove, 3226, Victoria, Australia. It's in the description and it'll be in today's transcript. Aside from that, obviously you've probably heard me talking about the Aussie English classroom plans. So I reformatted these episodes as of last week, and you can go and check out how it's formatted. It's still a bit messy, guys. Like, I can tell that it's a bit counterintuitive. It's not really obvious how to use these episodes, and so I'm working on coming up with a better way for you guys to consume this material. So far, I've been having discussions with some friends about doing or creating an online learning management system, or at least using one. I won't create it, but I'll use one to create a better Aussie English classroom where everything will be organized more neatly, easier to use, it'll be more intuitive, and you'll get quizzes, you'll have badges, so you'll be able to earn points and all that sort of stuff and communicate with each other. So I'm going to hopefully bring that to you guys in the new year. I'm working on that for the next 2 months or so. It's going to require a bit of a breakdown of the website, change a few things up, but definitely suss that out now, guys. You can sign up to the Aussie English Classroom for $1 for the first month. Give it a go. The price is going to increase next year, but if you sign up now, or if you're already signed up now, the price isn't going to increase for you guys, okay? So that's a little incentive to get in there now and give it a go before I upgrade it. And apart from that, I'm obviously working on the effortless phrasal verb course, guys. If you guys are having trouble with phrasal verbs, make sure you show up every Monday and every Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. Melbourne time, and you can watch the episodes that I put up there for free. And if you want the transcript, the slideshow, the MP3s, the video and everything, sign up to the course. It's $97 now, guys, and you'll save $13 if you buy it now before I finish putting it out and then release it. Anyway, guys, that's enough. No more announcements. Let's get into the expression episode. So as usual, let's start with a joke. I got a joke for you guys. It's a bit of a dad joke though, so it's funny, but it's not really funny. Okay, so what kind of music do kangaroos listen to? What kind of music do kangaroos listen to? Can you guys guess the genre of music? Kangaroos listen to hip hop. To hip hop, guys. Get it? Hip hop, because kangaroos hop. Yeah, that's it. Good joke. Great jokes, huh? Great jokes. So today's expression is little strokes fell great oaks. Little strokes fell great oaks. It's kind of a saying, I guess. It's not necessarily, it's an expression, but it's not something that you would use or conjugate in a sentence. You normally just say this as a proverb, as as an expression to explain. I guess we'll get to the definition of it, but as usual, let's go through and define the words in the expression. So, little strokes fell great oaks. Little strokes fell great oaks. Little, I'm sure you guys are going to know the word little. It means small in size, small in amount, small in degree. So he has a little dog. A stroke. A stroke is the act of hitting something or striking something. Okay, so it's like this movement, right? So we refer to strokes in golf as the number of hits that someone makes when they're playing the game of golf. So it's a blow, it's a hit, it's a strike, a stroke. So he swung the axe at the tree and he felled the tree in 2 strokes. So it took 2 hits with the axe to chop the tree down. To fell is a verb. It's not too common and it tends to only be used for trees getting chopped down. So if you fell something, it's that you have cut down a tree. It's gone from upright to lying down on the ground because you've cut it, you've caused it to fall, you've felled the tree. So the timber company felled a small forest, it felled a little forest, and a man could fell a tree with just 2 strokes of his axe, okay? In the expression, little strokes fell great oaks, great is big, impressive, grand, large, massive, huge. So if you've got a tree that is a great tree, it's big, it's massive, it's really impressive. It's a great tree. So the largest land mammals are the great elephants. They're great, they're huge, they're impressive. And maybe we want to talk about the largest whale in the ocean is the blue whale. It's the greatest whale of all. It's great. The last word in the expression little strokes fell great oaks is oak. An oak or multiple oaks. An oak, O-A-K, is a type of tree, a really large tree. And these are from the northern hemisphere. I believe they're from the US. They're probably found in Europe as well, though I'm not 100% sure. But these are trees that have acorns, the little nuts that squirrels typically eat. And they're deciduous. And deciduous means that they shed their leaves every year, I think during winter, and then they grow their leaves back during spring and then into summer. So that's what an oak is. It's a kind of tree. So keep hammering away at something for a really long time, and that is little strokes fell great oaks. So the expression, when we say the proverb or the expression little strokes fell great oaks, it's that limited strength, when persistently applied, so continuously applied, can accomplish great feats, can accomplish great things. So little strokes fell great oaks. It's the idea of slowly but surely, or slow and steady wins the race, or maybe little by little, right? And it also made me think of a song that you guys should check out, an Australian song called From Little Things Big Things Grow. From Little Things Big Things Grow. And this is by singer-songwriter Paul Kelly. He's a really, really good, famous Australian musician. But the expression little strokes fell great oaks, I hadn't actually heard this before. And it was Rucci that suggested this expression. And I looked it up, worked out what it meant. I can kind of gain the sense, but I'd never heard it. So thank you, Rucci, for suggesting this in the Aussie English Virtual Classroom, guys. And thanks everyone else for voting on this expression. And it actually comes from Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin used this proverb in his book, Poor Richard's Almanac. Okay, so this is from the 1700s. And Benjamin Franklin was a famous inventor in the US. So as usual, guys, let's go through some examples of how to use this expression or this proverb, this saying. So imagine the first example, you go to a gym and you meet a really massive guy, a bodybuilder. He's ripped, he's huge, and you think, far out, I'll never be as big as this guy. He walks over to you, puts his hand on your shoulder and says, don't worry, mate, little by little, you're going to get bigger. You could get this big, but you're going to have to train every day, and little by little, you'll improve. Rep by rep, sit up by sit up, push up by push up, you'll get bigger and bigger every single day. He might say, little strokes fell great oaks. So in this sense, little strokes are the slow and gradual exercises that you do every single day, and great oaks are getting ripped. That's the metaphor here. Little strokes fell great oaks. Example number 2. Imagine you are running a marathon, guys, and you've just started the marathon. It's the first one you've ever done. You've never run a marathon before, but this time you're going for it and you know you're going to finish it. So you have to remind yourself, slow and steady wins the race. I can do this. I just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other, step by step. I can do this. Little strokes fell great oaks. If I persistently do these small actions, I will get this great reward as a result at the end. Okay, so each step is a little stroke, and finishing the race or winning the race is the great oak, okay, in this example. Example number 3, maybe you're trying to conquer English. You're trying to get to fluency. You're trying to master the language that is English, okay? So you've started, you're practicing a little bit every day, 5 minutes a day, half an hour a day, 1 hour a day. It feels daunting. It feels like it's a big challenge. Maybe I'm not up to it, but then you remind yourself that slowly but surely, over time, gradually, if I keep exercising or keep doing exercises, if I keep practicing my English, I'm going to improve, and eventually I'm going to conquer this language, because little strokes fell great oaks, okay? Little strokes being everyday practice that you do, great oaks being becoming fluent in English, mastering the language that is English. So little strokes fell great oaks. So as usual, guys, let's go through a little listen and repeat exercise. Find a place that you guys can listen and repeat after me, maybe away from people so that you can feel confident. Say these words out loud. Try and repeat exactly as I say them if you want to work on your Aussie accent, guys. But find somewhere now and we'll get started, okay? So I'm going to go through and say each one of these words in this sentence and build the sentence. And then I'm going to just say the whole thing several times. So listen and repeat after me, guys. Little, little strokes. Little strokes fell. Little strokes fell great. Little strokes fell great oaks. 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 Good job, guys, there. So one thing, I guess, pronunciation-wise that I want to focus on, that I want you to pay attention to when you go back and listen one more time, the T's in the word little and in the word, or between the words great and oak, great oak, little, the T flap is present. So I don't say little, I don't say great oaks, I say little and great oaks, okay? So that's the T flap at work there. So when you go back and listen to that exercise, you'll hear that I don't pronounce it as little strokes fell great oaks. I say little strokes fell great oaks. So the T is sort of turned into that T flap, kind of like a DR sound. Okay, so practice that and you'll sound like a native when you speak quickly. And it actually gets easier to speak quickly when you start using the T flap. So before we finish up, guys, the Aussie fact for the day. The Aussie fact for the day is that Aboriginal people have inhabited Australia for about 50,000 to 60,000 years. They live everywhere in the continent, or at least they did until after European colonisation. They lived on the Torres Strait Islands between Papua New Guinea and the tip of Queensland. But the really cool thing that people don't often know about Indigenous Australians, Aborigines, is that they actually comprised 500 or more clans. 500 or more nations or countries, as we would call them. So Australia wasn't just one group of Aboriginals that all, spoke exactly the same language, that all had exactly the same culture, but instead there were up to 500 or more different nations or countries spread all over Australia, guys. So I always find that mind-blowing. And I guess to give you an idea of how many languages were spoken, there were between 290 and 363 Aboriginal languages that were spoken in Australia before European colonization. So mind-blowing. 300 or more languages were spoken across Australia. That is like probably the equivalent of the number of languages throughout all of Europe and Asia. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, guys, with that, thank you so much for coming to this episode. If you want to sign up to the Aussie English Classroom to get the bonus content for this lesson and learn to speak Australian English like me, learn to understand it better, learn to improve all aspects of your English, sign up to the Aussie English Classroom. It's just $1, $1, and you get 4 lessons for the first month. And if you sign up now and continue into the future, when I do the redesign of Aussie English and the price goes up, you won't pay any more. You'll pay the amount that you signed up at. Okay, guys? So I hope you have a freaking amazing weekend. Thanks again for showing up, and I will see you next week. Peace out, guys. G'day guys, thanks for watching the video. Remember, if you want to support the channel financially, you can do so via my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. If you can't afford to support the channel financially, you can still help by spreading the word and sharing the videos. Thanks so much guys, stay awesome, all the best.